Hello everybody, welcome to the Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to simulate a tax payment system. I want to create a person class and set some tax amount to a person. And then from the person class, I will derive businessman and employee classes. And I'm going to set other tax amount on businessman and employee. First, I have to set up the person class, which represents the highest hierarchy of my class system. For a person, I have to set up an initializer. A person has an ID number. So the parameter obtained from the class object will be passed to the instance variable of a person object, and the variable is known as ID number. Okay. A person has to pay some tax. I have to set up the tax payment by means of the pay tax method of a person class. The calculation is quite simple. The tax is equal to the taxable income times the tax rate. Like this. So this tax is a local variable of the pay tax method. I can print out the amount of the tax. And then I can return the value as well, in addition to printing out the amount of the tax. Here, str means string. I have to change the numerical value of text to a string before I can do the concatenation to another string. After I've set up a person class, I can derive a businessman class from the person class. Let us see how it can be done. Here it means that businessman class is derived from the person class. So I put person as the argument of the businessman class declaration. Let me see how I define the method pertaining to this class. I define another pay tax method that is particular to the businessman class. So I will override the pay tax method in the person class. Okay, in general, the businessman class will inherit the pay tax method from the person class. But now I override this inherited class with another method having the same name but different implementation. Let us see how we can implement it. Okay, you can see that my pay tax method for the businessman class is different from that of the person class. You can see that the tax is defined a bit differently from the tax variable inside the pay tax method for the person class. So this is known as a method overriding. Okay, when we create a new implementation of a class that is inherited from the superclass, we call this action method overriding. I can also create another class called employee, which is inherited from the person superclass. So I create another class. Here I define a new method called refund tax, which is a property that only the employee object can possess. Okay. So in my settings, only an employee can have the privilege to get the tax refund. Okay, how can we make use of these methods? Let's see some examples. Okay, Gary is a businessman, so I use the businessman class to create a businessman object called Gary Businessman. And I put the identity number to indicate the identity of Gary. Okay, the tax for Gary is calculated according to the method pay tax for the businessman class. So I need 3 input arguments for this pay tax method. And remember, the self argument will be passed to the method automatically. It means that the Gary businessman object will be passed as the first argument of the pay tax method directly. So we don't need to care about the self object when we call the methods. Okay, we can set up another example. I have another person called Ivy who is a self-employed guy. So I simply use the person class to instantiate this object. Okay, you see that Ivy is also able to calculate her own tax value by putting 2 arguments. In this case, pay tax method refers to that of the person class. Okay, so we just need 2 arguments. We have one more example about the employee called Bobby. Okay, Bobby is an employee, so when he needs to calculate the tax, he has to use the taxation calculation for the employee. But in this case, we can refer to the employee class. We don't do the method overriding for the employee class, so the employee would follow the tax calculation method of the person class, which is the employee's superclass. So when I want to use the person's pay tax method, I just need two input arguments. Bobby can get the tax refund because he is an ordinary employee. Let us see how these people can get the correct tax amount. Okay, the tax for Gary is this amount, which is calculated according to the formula on line 40. Okay, and for Ivy, the calculated tax will be this amount, which is found according to the person's pay tax method. And for Bobby would also follow the pay tax method from the person class, because employee simply inherits the person's pay tax method. And Bobby is also able to get the refund because it is privileged for an employee to do so when we have the return tax method for the employee. So the refund is this amount. My code is intuitive and straightforward, but it may not be the most efficient solution to the problem. If you can think about any improvement of my code, feel free to post your code on the comment section below the video. If you like this video, please give me a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.